going to consist of two parts actually. First, we're going to have a small discussion about the problem of plagiarism in general, and then we're actually going to move on to the presentation itself, when we are going to show you all the features of our solution. My name is Elena Chorna, and this is Grigori Shelest, the localization specialist for anti-plagiarism detection software Unplag. Oh, we actually have a couple of more people here, so Grigori will help them. So, I don't know, maybe some of you heard about this situation that recently happened in India. I just want to give you an example of how cheating might get quite funny at some points. So in Indian state Lahir, there was a situation when parents climbed the wall of the university to help the students to cheat on the exam. And in the result, 300 parents were arrested and 700 students expelled. So of course, this is a quite radical example, and something like this could never happen. I hope could never happen in Europe, and in Poland, of course. But we know that students are getting trickier. They know some ways to cheat the system. They know how to avoid different rules, and sometimes the case of plagiarism might occur not only because of intention of the student to do so. Sometimes students do it on accident when they do not cite the information properly, and when they are not aware of some citation rules and regulations. So today I'd like to discuss some of the basic reasons for increasing the problem of plagiarism in the world and in Europe indeed. So one of the points is actually modern information technology. So information is available to everyone now on the internet. If before you had to go to the library to do a research, to study, to read some information, to complete your master thesis, now you can just go online, find any information there, and some students would actually copy this information from online sources. Second point that I would like to mention is test evaluation system. We know that some of the students are quite smart nowadays. They can hack the system, they can find a way to cheat the test evaluation solution, and this is also a problem. The third point is rise of popularity of online writing solutions. You probably heard about these companies that offer their services for money to students, and they help them to complete their homeworks, etc. And of course, this is a decision of the student whether to use the system or not, but this kind of service also encourages students to avoid proper source of knowledge, right? So, and the last point that I would like to refer is actually switch from paper-based to internet-based style of education, right? We have tons of learning management system, different online courses, digital education services. Now information is available to students everywhere. They can actually choose when, how, and what to study, right? And it's great because there is no limit for the knowledge right now. People are available, people can get this information from anywhere, so there is no limitation to their financial situation or any other factors like this. But with this availability of information, there is also a responsibility for the quality of knowledge. So, as far as I understand, most of you who are present here, you are teachers, educators, and you have to do with students and their works. And of course, it would be your main goal to make sure that your students receive a proper knowledge and that the quality of knowledge does not suffer because of some modern technologies that we have now in the world. So, of course, there are some solutions available on the market nowadays. And when we came up with our software, when we decided to start our company and develop Unplag, we of course consulted with teachers and educators, with university leaders, and we wanted to hear their feedback on existing solutions, and we wanted to know what problems they could experience with them. And one of the most often replies that we would hear from them was actually complexity, speed of check, and no-personal approach. By complexity, I mean that some of the modern systems have actually a lot of features for teachers, but not all those features are user-friendly. Not all those features clear and understandable for everyone. Some of the systems take quite a while to scan the paper for plagiarism. And of course, most of the solutions that are available on the market offer the system as it is, which means that they do not offer a custom approach and custom adjustment of the system to the preferences of teachers, the people who would actually have to work with those systems. And from our side, we try to fix those problems, and we try to make sure that, first of all, our system is very easy to use, it's very understandable and clear for everyone. We wanted to make sure that the speed of check is fast and that the result of the check gives the fullest picture of the percentage of similarity. And one of our biggest advantages, I think, at this point is the fact that we do offer a personal approach. We do not try to sell a solution, we try to become a partner for the educational institution. We try to offer the biggest range of different functions. And what I'm going to do today I will actually present you a basic default version of the software. And in return, I would be glad to hear your opinion on what additional feature you might need for your particular institution. And when we will try to cooperate with you, we will of course make sure that those features that you want would be included in your version of the software. Right now, our software is available in English and Spanish language. So we work mostly with English and Spanish-speaking markets. But today we are here in Poland because we know that there is a new law which requires Polish university to check master thesis through the government repository. And we have been to the OPR meetings and yesterday actually, and we heard the requirements on the access to the database. So from our side, I can already claim that we will be able, on a technical level, have access to the database and provide a proper check with the requirements of the Polish government. So today our main goal is actually to hear your feedback and to hear your requirements for plagiarism solution that you want to work with, because you would be the people who would have to deal with the system, and you would be the people who would check those works and who would be responsible for the quality of knowledge to your students. So before we move on actually to the presentation, some of the benefits of our system is of course multi-language check and interface, customizable features which I mentioned before that you can adjust the system according to your preferences. We do have citation and reference management, which means that you can exclude citations and references from the check to make sure that they are not considered to be plagiarism. We also offer a simple integration with leading learning management systems. And in terms of pricing, I'm pretty sure we can also offer you one of the best quotes in the market. But pricing will be discussed directly with our sales representatives when it comes to a more detailed conversation on this topic. Just wanted to clarify that I think all of you should be logged into the system by now. Can you please make sure that everyone has access to the link? Right now we're going to give you a free trial link which you can actually keep, and you can use it for further tests in your institutions if necessary. Just a quick clarification. Our solution is web-based, which means that you don't have to download anything. It's available online. You just have to log into your system. And as I mentioned, today you will receive a free trial account. And the account that you will receive is going to be an administrator account. I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to make sure that everyone has access to the link. So if you're already at this, you can enter your email, password, and confirm password, and press get started button. verification, you can use your actual email because you want to keep those accounts for your future testings. So just use your email. You don't have to log into your email right now. The system will let you log in automatically. But after you do this part and press get started, make sure that you press login once again and enter your email and password. So does anyone else? Great, then we're going to actually move on. And when you are logged into the system, this is what you're supposed to see, right? This is the main dashboard of the account. And right now it's empty. There are no files, no users, no nothing, right? This is a brand new account. And we have actually three types of account: administrator, teacher, and student. This is an administrator account. This is the account that has the fullest functionality. But usually this type of account is given only to one person in the institution because this person would have to deal with technical integration and payment discussion with our company. So as you can see, for this account, there are 4 tabs available at the top: library, billing, admin, and user management. So for instructor account or teacher account, there would be just 2 tabs: library and user management. But we're going to get back to that later, and I will actually show you how the teacher's account is used. So right now, let's go to user manager section. So as you can see, there are no users added at the moment. And in order to do this is quite simple. You can just press add new user. And there are 2 options: add 1 user or add many users. And of course, second option would be the most preferable for most of the institutions because you could just add all of them at once. If you will click here, you'll see that you just have to enter the email addresses of the students. And when you do that, students will receive an invitation to the system with their login credentials. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 user. And I already have a so we enter a teacher's name and we enter the email of this person and we press add. And what we can see, a new user was added. Right now, you can see the role of this person. And just a quick notice, administrators can only create instructors' accounts, and instructors can only create students' accounts. So this is the
What type of account?
This is administrator, the main account that has access. Yes. Yes. So after this instructor, for example, will add more students into the system, administrator will actually see these students on the list in user management section.
What type of account will have another person who will have
Invitation.
invitation from us?
So it send invitations to your students, they would have
persons who not
they would have to be connected to this. It's a remote email as details, then you people account. Do you have questions at this point before we move on? Just to clarify once again, administrator, when he adds new users to the account, these new users would have instructor or teacher role. So, in case if there is a need, you can always, ban this user or unban or delete this user if there is some mistake in contact details or anything like this. So this is just basic functionality for end users. In case if your institutions would like us to do the whole structure for your university, you can actually send us a list of your teachers and list of your students, and we will do it for yourself. We will upload all this data into your account, and you wouldn't have to deal with this. So after we added this user, let's go back to the library. And what you will see here is that there is now a folder which is associated and connected to the user that was created. So in such a way, our system allows to make the whole system of files more organized. So all the files that would be uploaded by this person would be available within this folder. Right now, if we go inside, it's empty. There is nothing inside yet. But when this person will upload some files, the administrator will actually be able to see those files. And this works actually the same way for instructor and student kind of relationship. When instructor creates a new student, he will see all the files that the student will upload within this folder. So let's actually move on to the process of uploading files into the system and then scanning them for plagiarism. So at this point, there are a few ways to upload the file for check. You can simply drag and drop it. So you can drag the file and drop it into this area, and it will automatically upload into the system. You can use this option, which is a standard upload option, or you can use this option when you can just enter the file, the name of the document, and copy and paste the text that you want to be checked. And sometimes we know this option could be useful for those institutions when it is, for example, prohibited by students to upload any files from university computer, or if there are any other cases. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to upload a sample file that we have prepared. You should also have them on your computer. So right now, we're going to go on with this sample one. So as you can see, it is already uploaded, but right now there is no information for this file. We can only see who uploaded it and when it was uploaded. So in order to check this file for plagiarism, what we need to do is we have to choose this file and press check for plagiarism. I'm going to go back to check for plagiarism option later, but now I want to mention that you can actually upload several times at the same time, and you can scan several times at the same time. You just would have to choose all of them and press check for plagiarism button. So, as you can see right now, when we choose a file, there are a few more options available on the top. One of the options is move. This is an option could be used when you need to move one file to another folder, for example, when you need to change the organizational structure of your account. There is a function share, which allows you to share a file or a folder with another person in the institution or with a group of people. There is an option to remove a file if you need, but you can only remove the files that were uploaded by you. And search option, of course, if you have a bunch of documents and you need to find specific documents. Later on, I'm going to also show you how this share function works and why it's important for teachers to have this function. Right now, let's actually move on to the plagiarism report itself. So we have chosen the file. And if we click here, we can see that there are three options available. First one is inactive, because this is doc versus doc. This option allows us to compare two documents. And in this case, we would have to choose two files and see them in the system. And I will show how it looks a little bit later. Second option would be scan doc versus my library. And this option allows you to scan this file against all the other files available in your account. Third option is quite obvious, doc versus internet. And of course, when we're going to have, if we're talking about Poland, when we're going to have access to the government repository, we're also going to have another option to scan against this repository. So right now it's not available yet because it wasn't implemented. So right now we're going to move on and choose this option. As you can see, the check has started already, and you can see that it's moving quite fast. So when the check will be done, we're going to download the report. It's already done actually, and you can right now see the percentage of similarity and the percentage of originality that was found in the document. Also, you can see that there are 49 sources found in this document. So by giving you this report, we don't automatically tell you that this work is plagiarized, right? We just give you an idea of the similarities that we found within this document with other internet sources, for example, in this case. So if you want to see more details, we just click on the name of the file, and plagiarism report will be opened. This is how it looks. As you can see, some parts of the text are right now highlighted. This means that these parts were taken from this list of sources. And if you want to know exactly which source was used, you can actually click on the highlighted text. The system will show you the link that was used. And sorry. So, for example, if we choose this text, we can actually go to this link and see the copied text on this website. In order to do this, all we need to do is just click on View Original Sources icon, and we will be redirected to this website. It will still remain within our frame, so you will still see the percentage of similarity that was found with this website, and you will see the number of words that was matched. And you can also see the highlighted part of the text that was taken from this source. Do you have any questions at this point? No? Okay. So right now I'm going to close this link. And you know, the assignments could be different, right? Sometimes you might require students to use some sources. Or sometimes if you go to this URL, you realize that this is not plagiarized, that this information is actually supposed to be on the paper. So if you do not want this link to be included as one of the sources of similarity, you can actually exclude this source from the plagiarism report. And all you need to do is click omit source function, and the percentage of plagiarism will be recalculated. And you will see this link on the bottom of the report in omitted sources section. You can always, you know, undo it if this was done by mistake in some way. Also, another important function that we have, as you can see at the end of the document, there are two references. So there is an option actually to exclude references from being detected as plagiarized. So right now we can see that this second one is being detected by the system as plagiarized. So what we want to do is we want to use this option, and the system will actually exclude these two references, and it will put them in a separate tab, which is called exclude, and it will actually show you the percentage of the text that was excluded. So again, if you need to change anything, you can click on skip, and the system will recalculate again. In the nearest 2 weeks, we are also gonna add exclude citations references. So if there would be any quotes inside the text, you would also be able to exclude them from the plagiarism report. So if you need to download the report, it's quite simple. You just click on this button, and it will be downloaded in PDF format. And it will look like this. It will show show you the percentage, the list of sources, and the text itself with highlighted parts. Okay, so right now I'm going to go back into the library and upload a couple of more files so that we can actually see how other types of checks can work. So I'm going to upload sample 2, and I'm going to upload this file just to create a library within, hypothetical library within this account. So right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you this feature of comparing two documents. So I'm going to choose these two samples. And as you can see now, doc versus doc option is now available. So right now, you can actually see that both the documents were scanned. And for the first sample, there are two types of reports available now. If you will press here, you will see a drop-down with two kinds of reports. So, for example, let's actually open this one, that's sample number 2. And we will see that we found similarity with sample number 1. So what we want to do to see two documents next to each other, we want to click on the name of the source here. And we will see these two documents next to each other. So you can actually see the comparison. You can see which parts were added or deducted. You can see them next to each other. And if you click here, it will scroll to the second file and show you where is this part of the text in the second file. Any questions? Everyone is busy with their test accounts. And this option might be quite useful when a student uploads his assignment and then he has to make some changes, so he uploads it into the system again. And before scanning it against plagiarism, you can actually see what kind of changes were done to the document. So at this point, let's go back into the library. And we are going to try the third type of report, which is called doc versus library. So what we do now is we scan this file against these two files that are also available within the library. So now we can see that there are three types of reports available for this document. So basically, in this case, what the system is going to show you, it's going to show you that it found some similarities with sample number 2. And you can also go to this document and see the contents of the document. So this is it for the types of plagiarism checks. As I mentioned before, after the government repository is introduced, there's also going to be a check against database. So this option will also become available. Yes?
The last one, because I couldn't get it.
Okay. The last one was a check against library, right? Okay, so we're going to go back to the library. And let's scan this document. This one is not scanned against library. So we choose the file. And when we choose option doc versus my library, we are going to scan this file against these two files. Basically, we're scanning this file against all other files that are available within your account. Okay, so any questions about the library section? No? Okay. So right now, as you can see, for administrator account, there are two more tabs available, which are billing and API settings. So if section, the information that you're going to see there, it's not relevant for you right now, because this is a default type of account which is available for most of our corporate clients. Of course, in case if we do sign an agreement with an educational institution, the pricing is going to be individual, and we're going to consider your needs for the amounts of check, we're going to consider your number of students, types of check, etc. So pricing will be discussed individually with each institution. And the same with API settings. These settings will be also available for administrator only, and this is the only person who will actually need them. So teachers and students would not have to see this information and would not have to bother about this information. And the last part about this account that I want to show you is actually profile settings. And the reason why I want to show you this, I mean, this is all standard. You can enter your name, email, etc., etc. But what I want to show you is that we actually have an option which is sharing files. Right now it's on. What that means is that by uploading files, you actually allow to store these files in our database and then scan further works against this database. If you do not wish these files to be stored in our database, you can simply turn this function off, and all the files that you would be checking would be available only for your use, and we would not have access to them, and we would not scan other files against those files. So right now, let's actually have a small study case. I guess I'm gonna log in as an instructor and as a student, and show you how the whole process of creating assignment works for student and teacher. So as you remember at the beginning, I already created this instructor, Mr. Teacher. So he should have received an invitation email by now with the login credentials to his account. So I should already have this email open. It's right here. And you can see that there is an invitation with his email that should be used for login and password. So right now I'm going to use these credentials to log into teacher's account. There is a standard agreement that you might want to read before. Yes. So this is the teacher's account. So basically it looks the same as the one we saw before, but as you can see there are only two tabs available now, which is library and user management. As I mentioned before, instructor would only be able to create students' accounts. So if you go to the library, so if you go to user management, it's empty as well, and it is the same way you can add the students as we did before. So right now we're going to go ahead and add a student right away to show you how the whole creation of assignment works. So the invitation to the student was also sent, and I'm just gonna use another browser to check. Could take a few seconds. So while student is getting access to his account, we are actually going to create an assignment for him. So at this point, what you want to do is in the library. Oh, sorry, this is actually administrator library. So yeah, this is instructor's account. So in the library, you have an option to create file. So basically, by creating a file, you can create an assignment. So what you need to do is you need to write the name of your course or assignment. There is a new file now. You can also create some files within the folder with the details of the assignment if necessary. So what you want to do is you actually want to choose this folder and share it with the group of students that you want it to be visible for. Otherwise, students will not be able to upload their assignments into the system. They have to have a file or folder shared with them to be able to upload their assignments there. So we choose this file and we choose share option, which is right here. And now we have to choose which students are supposed to have access to this assignment. So in this case, we have one student only, and we are going to share this folder with the student. So this is done. The student should have this folder within his account at the moment. And I'm going to check if he received his invitation yet. And log in. Yes. So I'm logging in as a student right now. What you can see now, when the student is logged in, there is only one tab library. So basically, this person has no options to add other users, which is good. We don't need that. And we can also see that there is a folder shared with him by Mr. Teacher on this date. So student can actually go inside the folder and upload his assignment using one of these 3 upload functions that I described before. So right now it's actually upload a file, and it's gonna be this file. So it is already uploaded, and as you can see, student doesn't have an option to check it for plagiarism. It can only, at this point, when it's not checked yet, he can still remove it and upload a new file. But, if some teachers prefer to eliminate the student this option for the student, it is also possible. We just need to know your preferences for this function, and we can remove it from student's account. So the file is uploaded, and it should now be visible to the teachers. So if we switch back to teacher's account and go inside the folder, we can see now the file that was uploaded by student, and we can see the date when it was uploaded. So then the procedure is quite standard. We check the file, we choose the type of check that we want to do, and we scan it against plagiarism. So when this check of this file will be done, the student will also have access to the report, to the plagiarism report. So the professor doesn't actually have to send this report via email. So as you can see, this file is 100% similarity, which is not a good thing. So in this case, student can actually upload the second file, and the teacher from the side can use doc versus doc or doc versus library function to see what changes were done by the student when he did a second try, when he did a revision of his work. Any questions at this moment? No? Okay, so right now I want to go inside of this document, and I'd like to point out that when you upload a document into the system, all the formatting would be kept original. I mean, there is no mess up with the images being moved somewhere else, so all the formatting is kept exactly the way it was before you uploaded the file. So you can see on the final report exactly the way it was before. Okay, and as I mentioned before, there is an option for references. And when we're going to have a quotate exclude quotes option added to our account, it will also be available in this top functional panel. Okay, so this is it for the main functionality, and as I mentioned before, the system is quite simple. It has the basic functions that the teacher might need in his work. And what we are offering you to share your thoughts on what requirements do you have for the system, what extra features you might need during your work. And our team, using our personal approach, we're going to make sure that you have all this basic functionality and all the extra features that you might want for your system in your institution. Any ideas or any suggestions at the moment? the Ukrainian university, and we are actually right now in the process of negotiation of introducing our system to Ukraine, and we're discussing this with the Ministry of Education in Ukraine to make sure that the system could be used by Ukrainian universities. So we are kind of trying to see what is the potential within Ukraine for our software. And we see that it's quite big, but some of the institutions are not quite ready for this next step yet. And as I mentioned before, one of the main goals for us to be here is to hear your opinion and to hear the requirements of Polish government on the access to the repository. So this version that we are showing you today is the default settings, and we want to do the localization to the local market, and the adaptation to Polish language can be done within 2 weeks only. So it's not a matter of time, it's not a matter of Polish language, it's a matter of your preferences and your vision of a perfect plagiarism solution. So we know that there are alternatives available in the market, but we want to make sure that we can offer you the best option with the best pricing here for Polish universities. So if you don't have any other questions about the system, you're welcome to talk with me or Grigory about possible options and about possible features for our solution. We would be more than happy to discuss this with you. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate your time and I appreciate you being here today.